Hello and welcome to an album a day, day 307, going through my vinyl collection. We're down to this one and one more for now. This one actually is from 1984, and it is a 1984 copy coming to me all the way from the Netherlands. That's not where I got it from, but that is where it originated, which is, it's kind of cool to have records from around the world. I'm talking about the second album of this artist, the only two from his catalog that I plan on collecting. I'm talking about Yngwie Malmsteen, Rising Force. This is the follow-up to his first album, Marching Out, and I have to say, I absolutely love these first two albums. I really do. After that, I got just a little tired of the sound. As I've said many times, I'm not big on shred guitarist kind of music, but I will say the songwriting, the performances on these first two albums are fantastic. These were ones that were part of my youth growing up in Michigan. In fact, I remember specifically the song Disciples of Hell. My brother and I were on our way near my grandparents' house was a computer store that opened up right next to, in the same little shopping center as a hobby shop that my grandfather used to take us to get parts for little projects that we were doing when we would stay with them. And I remember we were on our way to get Marble Madness for the Commodore because my brother had a 128, I had a C64. And I remember it would have been on a 5.5-inch floppy disk. So that kind of puts you around the time frame, right? But I remember listening to Yngwie on the way. I remember listening to Disciples of Hell. And part of us wanted to run in and get the game and get back home. And another part of us was like, I kind of want to finish listening to this song before we go in the store because it's such a good song. So those first two albums, as far as my youth goes, were very, very important to me. I love them to this day. I think there's some incredible performances and writing on them. But after that, I just got kind of tired of here's how many notes I can play. I don't connect with that very much as a musician or as a fan of music. There are certain times where it's okay, but I'm just not a big fan of slamming as many notes into something. You're really not feeling anything, or I'm not feeling anything from it, so not a huge fan. But this is released on the Polydor label, of course. And it's actually in really, really good shape too. I would say that this is a near mint. The cover, however, not so much. So this would be post Alcatraz, by the way. So here is the cover without the slipcase. It is obviously, not in the greatest of shape. You go over to the back side, you got a little bit of wear and stuff. That part's normal, but yeah, this whole crease right here, not very good. The whole thing's actually kind of flimsy, just flimsy vinyl, just a regular slip cover on this, nothing special, just a generic white one. But yeah, it's got a little bit too here, like it's been pressed down. That's my neighbor's car, if you can hear that. It's a little bit pressed down here, so the thickness on the side is stable, but you've got an indentation here. It's not visible, but you can feel it. So it's not in the greatest shape. I would say fair, probably. So a near mint vinyl, which is the most important part, and then kind of a fair album cover. We've got some really good songs on here, guys, and as always, that is the most important part of why you buy music. You might buy it as a collector, and that's fine, but I did want an original pressing because that's what I had when I was a kid. And let's see, so we opened up with Black Star, great song. Second one, Far Beyond the Sun, excellent song. One of my favorites, Now Your Ships Are Burned, killer song, really cool parts, unexpected, great stuff. Then we go to Evil Eye, excellent. My brother and I used to play that one. As I grew up, I found I was playing it wrong, but that's beside the point. Then we go to side two, we get Icarus, Dream Suite, excellent. As Above, So Below. Probably one of my favorite Yngwie songs from these first two albums. Then we get Little Savage, and we end with Farewell. Just, top to bottom, not a bad track for me on this album. Love the whole thing. We get the back with Yngwie playing behind his head, because of course, if you're not showing off with the number of notes you're playing, you have to show off with how you play them. I think that's the big turnoff to me, is that I'm not big on showmanship. If you're going to do a show like Alice Cooper, for example, where it's really, part about the music and part about the visual, it's a show, not a concert, then I'm fine with it. But even with that, the last time I saw Yngwie, you're watching the stage. Alice has got all these theatrics going on. It's amazing because you really get the impression that he absolutely is controlling everything and every person on stage with his cane or his baton. You really you get that sense. But musically, the music is happening and it's fantastic. But the last time I went, the drummer was up on this really high riser behind everyone, and he's twirling his drumsticks. I'm like, this is so unnecessary. You've got already so much visually to look at. You're the drummer of the band. Just play the drums. That's your role. We're not looking up, way up there. We're looking down on the stage at all the action. So those kind of theatrics, I've never been a big fan of. I'm more, just be the musician, do the best you can musically. That's what I'm more interested in. The theatrics of it, part of the reason I'm just not a Kiss fan is because they're more theatrics than they are about the music. Stuff like that just really isn't interesting to me. So even the stuff that Richie would do, playing with his foot and all that, that is not a turn on to me personally. So when I see a picture of like Yngwie's got to play behind his head and he's probably playing 30 notes a beat on top of that, just really isn't interesting to me. I want good songwriting. I want music that makes me think or feel or get excited or, want to march or go to war or just, get me pumped up or make me feel something emotionally. A moment of love, a moment of anticipation, fear, whatever it is. That's what I really want out of music. So for me, the theatrics are not a big deal. I think that's something that younger people are like, oh, wow, that's so cool how he's doing that. I remember how everybody went nuts over Tommy Lee doing the spinning drum riser, having no clue that Buddy Rich had done it like 30 years before. Stuff like that is just not interesting to me. I want good music. That's all I really want. And so even to me, like throwing as many notes in as you can just because you can is more theatrics than it is music. And it may have some musical validity to some people. But for me, it's just not what I'm interested in. I think I just got really tired of that sound. But the songwriting and the performances on the first two albums absolutely hold dear. They're wonderful. So that is our album for today. We have one more for tomorrow. It is a 45. It is a collection within a collection that I got for an incredibly good price. Actually found it in the US, which is kind of rare. That's been one of the problems with the 45s from this collection is they're mostly in Europe. So the bigger problem is how much I'm going to pay in shipping more than the actual 45 itself. And so I try to find one that has maybe 3 or 4 things that I want that I can just, put all under that one shipping price. And they're really, really getting hard to find because the list I have remaining is pretty low. So it's getting harder and harder to find really good bargains or bulk purchases that I can do from somebody. But anyway, got a great one on this one. So we'll have that for you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Halloween. Today is Halloween Eve. Hope you guys are gearing up for a wonderful party, maybe going out, just enjoying the atmosphere. I'm going to miss it. I love the whole Halloween vibe. I miss before COVID when they used to decorate that street on the strip between the Link and the High Roller with those like 8 and 9 foot tall ghost and goblin statues and everything. It was so cool. But anyway, I hope you guys are all heading into a wonderful time. We'll see you tomorrow for 45. Cheers.